G'day guys, Morsey here. Just walking around this village, patrolling, keeping my eye out for any enemies that might just randomly appear. Just playing around with command blocks a little bit, and what I've done is enabled a sort of random attack system. So rather than have mobs just spawning everywhere, I've turned mob spawning off, and now they only spawn when a certain action happens. At the moment I've got it set to a random timer, and every so often, like this, perfect timing, you'll get some enemies that appear and you get teleported to go and fight them, and when you beat them you get sent back to wherever you were at the time. So the idea for this is that you could use it in adventure maps as sort of like a mini quest or something. Maybe the quest is save as many villagers as you can before the night finishes, and maybe it counts how many villagers are alive at the end. At the moment, of course, I've just put in a little barrier here. This is sort of reminds me a little bit of like, for example, Final Fantasy VII, or for that matter like Pokemon, where you just walk around and then in the environment, and then every so often you'd have a random thing attack you. So this is sort of just to contain them while I do the video, but you could make them spawn anywhere on the map, and maybe you don't get teleported there, maybe you run there instead. So just a bit of an idea, but yeah, as you can see, it only happens every so often. It's completely random. There's 3 different mob combinations that you might get, and yeah, just a bit of an idea to have a bit of fun with. Alright guys, so here we are, we're under the well, and we're looking at the main brain part of this encounter. What we have here are 3 update detectors. These will randomly get fired as the world updates random blocks, like that. Good timing. What this will do is it'll send a pulse to this piston, which will complete a whole bunch of little commands. What it will also do is each time one of these fires, it will set the position of this obsidian block in this little hole here. Now what will happen when this fires is, first off, it will play a bit of a sound and do some cosmetic things like a slowness effect and a blindness effect. This is just used as a transition to go into the battle stage. Small delay here for let the transition sort of sink in a little bit, and it'll get to here, which is really cool. What this will do is at the very end it will teleport you to the place where you need to be to fight these guys. But before that, it summons a custom villager with the name of BRB. Be right back. It summons that to the player's position before they get teleported. Once it summons that villager, it also puts a invisibility effect on them, and it also adds a slowness effect to them. So what that is basically becomes is a waypoint, I guess you'd call it. Maybe I should rename it waypoint. It gives you a waypoint so that when you finished fighting, you know exactly where you were before because there's a villager there, and you can get sent back to that exact spot again. So that's what that does. These bits over here, so as you can see there's an obsidian block in here at the moment. This means that this whole system is off, and this is what happens when, I'll just knock this out, this is what happens when this block here fires. So when an encounter starts, this block will fire and it will complete all these commands, one of which is to replace this block with obsidian so it cannot fire again, because we don't want to be sent to the battle arena and have the blindness and the slowness and then 2 seconds later have it do it again while we're in the middle of a fight. So it puts the obsidian there to stop that block being pushed, and it also, just for safety's sake, adds this redstone block back in, because sometimes the obsidian block may accidentally copy over the redstone block in this position. So we'll just put that back. So that's how that works. Over this side, when all that happens, this block here has been happily changing its position, and depending on where it's sitting at the time that this fires, you can see it just moved there. Oh, it didn't do it again. Depending on when this fires, where the position of this block is it determines the combination of mobs you'll get. So it's moved over that side. So if it was to fire now, we would get a zombie, and another zombie, and another zombie. And as you can see, it's just sort of shifting around a bit. Just add a bit more randomness to it. You could expand this quite a way. You just need a few more of these. But yeah, that's how that works. So once all that's completed and we get teleported, we will go over to the other area and see what happens there. Alright, so here we go. We're in our little arena thing here, and down underneath here we've got a little clock running. The clock doesn't have to always be running. In fact, you could make it a bit more efficient and just spawn in a redstone block here when the encounter starts. That would probably be more efficient. What that's doing is it's refreshing these commands here, which are test 4, sorry, and they're testing for the 3 different mobs that we might be fighting. At the moment it doesn't detect any of them, so this line is unpowered. And down here we have a torch that is on, which when these command blocks are in an on state, they won't do anything basically. So they'll do it the first time around, but if they stay powered, they won't do it again. So they need to be unpowered and then repowered for them to work again. So this one here, all it does is, if we're not fighting anything, this will all be on. If we are fighting something, this will be off, and when we kill that something, this will turn back on again, and that's when all these commands will fire. So when this torch turns off and back on, we will see a victorious sign because we've killed whatever we've seen to kill. It'll fill in the mob selection area so that it blanks that out and put something else in there. It will play a little sound for us, and it will also replace that obsidian block with air, the one that was stopping the system from working. So it'll replace it with air so it can work again. Another thing it will do, which is optional of course, it'll teleport us directly back to the villager that we spawned in, so that we can be exactly where we were before. Once it does that, it plays a little sound here as well, and also a bit of blindness for more effect. Once it does that, it will actually teleport that villager to -1 in the Y coordinate, which is below bedrock, which means the villager dies. You can do the /kill command, but if you do that, as soon as you teleport, you will hear the villager die, and it just sort of doesn't work quite as well. So that's what that's for. So that's about it, guys. Just thought I'd show you that. It's a bit of an idea for, map makers or something like that. Anyone who wants to sort of use it in that situation, I think it would work well. You could do a few different cool things like this. You could have a save the village thing. You could have a maybe there's a chicken you have to get, and it's in the long grass, and you have to walk around in the long grass until you find the chicken. Just cool things like that. I think it would be a cool addition to a map as like a side quest or something. Of course, I will put the map download in the description, and you're welcome to take it and have a look and see how it works. Get out of my way. And yeah, and see how it works and make some changes of your own. And I'd love to see some cool concepts of people using this, which would be awesome. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.